I hope she enjoyed it, because it really should be her last. What a total humiliation. A total humiliation.
Can colleagues who are exiting the chamber do so swiftly, so we can focus on the Leader of the Opposition? Swiftly exit, quietly. Right. Leader of the Opposition.
It's a total humiliation, Madam Deputy Speaker. Last year, she put up taxes by £40 billion, the biggest tax rate in British history. She promised that she wouldn't be back for more. She swore it was a one-off. She told everyone that from now on, it would be stability and she would pay for everything with growth. Today, she has broken every single one of those promises. If she had any decency, she would resign. At the last budget, she said she was proud to be the country's first ever female Chancellor. After this budget, she will go down as the country's worst ever Chancellor.
Kemi Badenoch's response has cut through the political noise precisely because it reflects a growing public sentiment about Rachel Reeves. The widening gap between her polished image and her actual performance is becoming increasingly difficult to overlook. Reeves entered this budget buoyed by the historic significance of being Britain's first female Chancellor, repeatedly highlighting the milestone as though the symbolism itself conferred authority. But symbolism offers little comfort when households are under pressure and the economic outlook remains fragile. And this budget laid bare just how limited her economic vision appears to be. Rather than delivering a decisive course correction, Reeves presented a package that felt tentative and unfocused, a mix of half measures, broad assurances, and policies seemingly crafted more to manage a news cycle than to guide a country through turbulent times. Badenoch's criticism resonates because Reeves increasingly appears constrained by expectations she cannot meet. She speaks the language of renewal, yet governs with the caution of someone unwilling to disrupt the status quo. She warns of the damage inherited from past administrations, but offers little in the way of a convincing roadmap out of it. Meanwhile, living costs continue to rise, public services remain under immense strain, and public confidence is eroding. Against that backdrop, Reeves's insistence that Britain is firmly on the right trajectory begins to sound less like leadership and more like wishful thinking. Yes, she made history as the first woman to hold the office of Chancellor, but after this budget, she risks making history for a very different reason, not for breaking a glass ceiling, but for presiding over a collapse in economic credibility. Reeves set out to project hope. Instead, her budget has become a case study in how quickly political authority can fade when ambition fails to translate into action.
Let's get into the revelations in the book, because, for instance, you talk about the Queen's relationship with Meghan and Harry, and it's just interesting intel, as ever, that you've managed to pick up. For instance, the late Queen objected to Prince Harry ringing her at a certain time. Why?
Because she was having tea. She always had tea at a certain time of the day, and everyone knows that you don't disturb the Queen when she was having her afternoon tea.
Harry must have known that.
Yeah, but I suppose he got confused with the time differences when he was ringing up.
Yes, good point. Yeah, all right. So he was disturbing her as she was having a cup of Earl Grey, and then she was also concerned about how much Meghan was spending on clothes.
Yeah, and I think she was probably right on that as well. I mean, she had a good barometer when it came to I think one dress on one tour was £60,000.
Oh yeah, the Dior dress that she wore.
Yeah, and that really wouldn't have, even though, to be fair, in the early days when the Queen was travelling and she had all those different dresses created for different tours, you could argue again that she was doing it herself. But I think that it just, at this time, she thought that's not the right message, and she was usually right on this thing.
Like Princess Anne, the Queen was a great recycler of clothes as well, whereas I'm not sure Meghan wore the same thing.
The more I think about what happened with Meghan and Harry at the beginning, I think I blame more Harry, because I think that she probably, maybe she didn't listen, but I do think that she should have been better advised, better handled, better dealt with. Really.
But the feeling that you give in the book is that the Queen was well aware that when they were phoning, what they were really asking for was one thing, dosh.
Money, yeah.
Is that true?
That's true, and I think also the King got fed up, or Charles, when he was the Prince of Wales, got fed up too, when he remarked, "I'm not a bank." I mean, I think that's something we're all familiar with.
I think any parents...
I think it's the amount of zeros involved that was the worry.
Right, yeah. It's one thing asking for a tenner for a Nando's. It's quite another asking for hundreds of thousands of pounds. What's the truth about them calling their daughter Lilibet? Did the Queen know or not?
I think, to be fair to Meghan and Harry, they did speak to her about it. I think they said, "We want to name our daughter after you," but she assumed that meant their daughter would be called Elizabeth. The actual and then left it, and then it was not discussed. And so when she read about it being Lilibet, I think she was quite, not only surprised but slightly annoyed, because.
So you think she only first found out that it was Lilibet
by the media? Yeah, by it coming out in the papers.
Yeah. So she wasn't annoyed, but she was upset, or she was affronted. What do you think?
Well, it's a personal nickname that her mum and dad and her granddad and her sister would use for her. It was a name that's personal to her. So I think it was quite different being called Lilibet to being called Elizabeth. Lilibet was really it's her legacy, really. It's one of the things that she was called. And I think she was probably a little irritated that she didn't know. The one thing that the Queen always wanted was to know what was happening.
Yeah, of course.
And to be fair, though, I think there may have just been a bit of a misunderstanding.
A bit of a communication breakdown.
Hence why both said that one side said, "Oh, no, we did tell her." And the other
I know. There was an interesting briefing at the time about that particular story. Tell me about the relationship between Charles and William, because you raise a few concerns that it's been a bit testy in the past. I think you're basically suggesting that, funny enough, Charles got on better with Harry than William, but...
No, I think he did. No, my understanding from people I spoke to is the King and Harry had a pretty good relationship. They were fairly got on very many issues. They were, perhaps Harry's a little bit more, I know it seems hard to think now, but a bit more laid back.
Yeah.
I think with William, there was always issues, bigger issues, which always seems to be a clash between a monarch and an heir. Things like, what are they going to do in the future? Even now, I think there's that clash, even though they have certainly, there's the King, understanding with the King knows that going forward, William will be the lead. He will take the lead when it comes to the direction of the monarchy. But he doesn't necessarily agree with that royalty with a small r. I think that from what I understand, his feeling would be that you mustn't throw the baby out with the bathwater. You mustn't change too much for the pomp, the pageantry, the tradition. We just saw it at work, didn't we, with Trump at the Great Hall in Windsor, where the soft power diplomacy was very in evidence and worked very well. In a way, if you limit too much, then you start to be rejected by the people that are your supporters, and you're not really appealing to these people that actually don't want you anyway. You're
well, you're losing some of the magic, and then people are going to ask themselves, what's the point? What's the deal with William not wanting to wear a kilt, which I would imagine is a central part of his future life as king?
Well, it's only there, I think the falling out is that, of course, the King has always been aware, as when he was the Prince of Wales, he was Lord of the Isles as well, that there's a whole industry in the making the kilts, making the tarts, making everything that's important.
Yes.
And it keeps a lot of people in work in Scotland and in the Isles in particular. And if you're not wearing that as the Lord of the Isles, he thinks that's you're turning your back.
What's William's objection? Is it wearing the skirt?
Maybe it itches. I don't know.
Not wearing underwear. I don't know.
I don't know, but he doesn't like it.
He thinks it's a gimmick or something.
I don't understand why he doesn't wear it. But
he went to university in St Andrews.
But I don't think we've really seen him in a kilt very much, have we?
No, we haven't.
No.
That's a very good observation. And also, Queen Camilla. Now, you said that when she saw the video that William and Kate made after they had cancer, she called it a shampoo commercial.
She said it was like a shampoo commercial, and I think that it was very much a joke. It was very much, I mean...
She likes a joke, doesn't she?
They like, I mean, Camilla and Queen Camilla and Catherine get on very well. But so I think when they saw it, I mean, she wasn't alone in that remark.
No,
a lot of people...
It was very
But it wasn't meant in any way, in a harmful way, but in a joke, it was a Camilla joke.